This tortilla casserole with chicken recipe is easy and delicious. Just like my recent chicken and dumplings with tortillas recipe, this is going to be a Southern and Tex-Mex fusion that is going to have corn tortillas, chicken, cheese, sour cream, vegetables, and probably some canned tomatoes with green chilies. Here in this bowl, I am going to first add my vegetables. I have half of one medium red bell pepper, half of one medium green bell pepper, a small yellow onion, a small red onion, and then some corn. What I did is I sauteed everything except the corn in a little bit of butter and a little bit of canola oil, a tablespoon each, for 5 minutes. And then once it was done, I had some little corn cobs in the freezer. I microwaved them just until they were unfrozen. And then I took my knife and I took off the corn kernels, and I added probably the equivalent of one of these little cobs, or maybe a little more. So now I think I have a good combination of colors and flavors with the vegetables. Off to the side. Here I have my chicken. I have a little over 1 cup, about 250 grams of shredded chicken. As always, I took chicken leg quarters. I took off the skin and most of the fat, and I boiled them with garlic, onion, celery, carrot, and bay leaf. Delicious, delicious, delicious. As I add the chicken, I'm just pulling it apart with my fingers. I'm also going to add some cheese. In total, I'm using 1 8-ounce block of shredded Colby Jack, but you could use any type of cheese you want. I am adding half of the block, so 4 ounces, to the main part of the casserole. And then for the top, I'm going to do the other half of the block along with a 1/4 cup or 60 grams of sour cream. I'm also going to add sour cream to the casserole. I'm going to add 1 cup or 240 grams. I'm going to finish putting in the chicken, and then I'm going to add the sour cream and the spices. Now that the chicken, the cheese, and the sour cream is in the bowl, I'm going to add my spices. I am using half a teaspoon each of onion powder, black pepper, and garlic powder, along with a 1/4 teaspoon each of oregano, cumin, and coriander, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of chili powder. I like things to be spicy, but not super spicy, so that's why I kept the chili powder to only 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm going to mix this together, and I'm going to taste it and see how I like it. I have a feeling I might be adding some of the canned chilies and some of the tomatoes with green chilies, the Rotel style tomatoes. I will let you know once everything is mixed and I give it a taste. I tasted it and I decided to add another 1/8 of a teaspoon of the chili powder, so that makes it a 1/4 teaspoon each of chili powder, oregano, cumin, and coriander. If you don't have all those individual spices, then I would probably do a teaspoon of taco seasoning, since those spices are pretty prevalent in taco seasoning. I like it, but I think it needs something bright, something kind of citrusy. So I am going to add some Rotel style canned tomatoes with green chilies. These are definitely on the spicy side, so just like always, add a little and then taste it, because you can always add more later, but you can't take away. I actually decided to add the entire can of the Rotel tomatoes, So I would go with 10 ounces. I almost forgot my most important ingredient, onion soup mix. Or maybe I shouldn't say most important ingredient, my favorite ingredient to use in casseroles. I tasted it, I know I like it, so I am going to add 1 egg to help bind everything together, especially since the juice from the can is adding extra moisture. And then I'm going to start layering the chicken filling with the tortillas. Now that I have mixed the egg into the chicken and vegetable filling, it's time to assemble the tortilla casserole. Here I buttered an 8 by 8 inch casserole dish, and I'm going to start by first putting down a layer of the chicken and cheese filling. I have the idea of doing 3 layers of the chicken filling, and then probably, I think it would be 3 layers of the tortillas, so we'll see. And now for the tortillas. I am using small corn tortillas. I think this is a 10 or 12 ounce package. I'm sure you could use flour, whole wheat, whatever you want, but I really like the corn tortillas. All I did is I took some tortillas out of the package, cut them down the middle into half circles. Because the tortillas are circular, the pan is square, so I have to cut the tortillas. All I'm doing is I'm putting them in the casserole like this, around the edge. Some people, when they make tortilla casserole with chicken, they actually cut the tortillas into strips and just add the strips to the filling. You could definitely do that, but I want to be able to see layers of tortillas in my casserole. And now more filling on top. I used, how big is this? 10 ounces. I did not use the whole package, so if you buy 10 ounces worth of corn tortillas, you should be fine. Now for the topping. I have the other half of the block of Colby Jack cheese that I mixed with 1/4 cup or 60 grams of sour cream. And to that I did 1/8 of a teaspoon each of black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Now I'm just going to spread this on top. Do you have to add the sour cream? No, you don't. But as the cheese melts, the sour cream is going to help everything just spread out into a very nice topping. And the extra tanginess is really going to be nice. Once this is spread out, put it into a 350-degree oven. I just pulled my tortilla casserole with chicken out of the oven. It was in at 350, uncovered, for 40 minutes. This was actually my second time making this casserole. I had made it a few months earlier, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I wanted to give it another try. And this time, it was much better. My tortilla casserole with chicken recipe was great. Although it might seem obvious given the name, I was honestly really surprised by how much this casserole tasted like tortillas. Don't get me wrong, I could definitely taste the chicken, the cheese, the spices, and everything else, but like I said, the main focus of this casserole was definitely the tortillas themselves. The first time that I made this casserole, I felt like it was a bit bland, and that was because I didn't add the Rotel style tomatoes with green chilies. However, adding those definitely added a lot of flavor to this casserole. The tang and the spice giving this casserole the southwestern flavor that it was lacking before. I know the top layer doesn't look like the cheese melted all the way, but that's because I used fat-free sour cream. So I guess that I had to sacrifice some of the physical appearance in order to save some calories. Like I said, I was really happy with how this tortilla casserole with chicken recipe turned out. It was a good example of how sometimes it takes 2 tries, if not 3 tries, to get a recipe just how you want it. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.